Hi folks, Joe here from Player TV, and today we're taking a good look at the Phantom RGB mechanical keyboard by Tecware. But first, Tecware is a lesser known name in the industry compared to the likes of Razer, Corsair, Thermaltake and more, but that certainly doesn't mean they need to be dismissed. We were sent the Phantom keyboard in both full-size 104 keys and 10 keyless 87 key form factors. The only difference between the two is the size and the number of keys. Naturally, the full-size houses 104 keys and includes the number pad, more commonly seen on most keyboards to the right. They both feature same build quality, same line-tune modes, same customization options and same keys, so for the purpose of this review we're going to focus on a smaller 10 keyless 87 key Phantom. The smaller form factor makes the 10 keyless ideal for those with either smaller workspaces looking to save space on their desk real estate, or for those that simply prefer smaller keyboards. Unboxing the Phantom is a relatively simple affair. The box itself carries off a premium feel to it with a glossy black keyboard design on a matte black backdrop with simple text in the corners. On the back is an image of a keyboard with a specifications list to the right and some thumbnail images of some of the features of Phantom, of which we will touch upon shortly. Inside the box you get a plastic keyboard guard holding the unit into place. Move the top boxes away and you get access to the cable of the keyboard, and finally the keyboard itself wrapped inside a foam bag. The Phantom is an attractive keyboard, albeit slightly plain looking. When not lit up, it looks very much like a basic keyboard. It is pretty compact, however, as there is very little bezel around the unit, which allows it to come in at a tiny 36.1cm by 13.3cm, and a relatively standard 22.5mm thickness. This aesthetic is one of the Phantom's key selling points, however, as it offers a clean and simple no-nonsense appearance. With no brand logos, fancy shortcuts or media keys, the only branding it features is a Phantom name that is printed on the bottom left corner of the keyboard, and actually it's quite a good look. It doesn't distract away from your system and it carries a premium feel to it. It's not all plain, however, though, so don't dismiss it yet. The Phantom hosts an impressive array of party tricks, which we will focus more on now. The keys are designed to look like they're floating from the base, and they feel really good to type on too. Each key is slightly textured, and rather than printed digits they are transparent, so there is no worry of key fading over time. The base of the Phantom is relatively slim and is made up of high quality thick black plastic that feels very sturdy. Most of its sturdiness, however, comes from the alloy aluminium mounting plate seen here. This plate is 1.5mm thick and provides a great level of strength to the whole build, and endurance is maximised. This plate also massively minimises any flex of a keyboard. It also makes the keyboard quite heavy, heavier than most keyboards on the market, so if you're after a lightweight keyboard for portability, then the Phantom might not be for you. However, if you want a heavy, weighted and sturdy board, then you're in the right place. Moving to the base of a Phantom, you get a modern, angular, almost gaming aesthetic with the angular shapes across the entirety of it. There are 4 thick rubber feet on each corner for keeping the board still when typing, with a plastic hinged leg that pulls out if you wish to have the board angled forward. The tunnelling across the top is for the cable to recess into, and you can opt to have the cable feeding out either the left, middle or right of the keyboard, depending on where your system sits on your desk. The cable itself is also high quality with a nice thick black braiding on it. It keeps it from kinking and also protects the cable itself. At the end of the cable, you get your USB Type A port that is covered with a little hard rubber cap to protect from dust or damage. An interesting little touch. Moving back to the base of a Phantom, and you may have noticed this at the top right. This is in fact a compartment that houses the keycap pulling tool. Again, another little attention to detail that is welcome to avoid losing the tool. Removing the tool is simple as sliding to the left and pulling it away. Move back to the business side of the board, and here you can see the keycap puller in action. To remove the keycaps, you simply slide this puller over the key and it will click into place and just pull away and you're good to go. This is ideal if you wish to add your own custom keycaps to the board. Now that we've touched upon the aesthetics and the design of a board, let's turn our attention to the 2 different areas of a Phantom that we have not covered yet, and that is the mechanical switches and the RGB lighting modes. The Phantom RGB mechanical keyboard is, as the name would suggest, a mechanical keyboard. However, rather than using the more commonly featured Cherry MX switches, it utilises Otemu mechanical switches. Otemu switches are more commonly seen in lower priced keyboards due to their much lower manufacturer cost over their German Cherry counterparts. This doesn't mean that the quality of the key press is going to suffer, however. The Phantom keyboard we have here feature the Otemu Blue switches. The Blues feature good tactile feedback and make a very loud click. The Blues are the most popular colour switches used, not just on the Otemu switches but in other manufacturers too due to their clicky sound. They offer a good feedback that is ideal for typing over a longer period or gaming. The Phantom does come with browns or reds too, however. The reds are best for linear actuation, they have fewer friction points and activating points are in the middle with a heavier bottom out force. They are slightly harder to use over a longer period as the key retention is pretty hard, meaning it does feel heavy over prolonged use. The reds are a firm favourite amongst gamers who prefer a lighter touch and higher actuation point rather than typists who are generally heavier handed. They also are more popular with those that don't like the loud clicky sounds that you get from the Blues as they have no tactile bump. The browns are an even lighter switch and perfect for typists as they offer a substantially noticeable tactile feedback. They feel a little bit like the Blues but are easier to press, so speed typing would likely be a very good experience. They are not as loud as the Blues but slightly louder than the Reds. Changing out the switches on the Phantom is easy too, when you use the included switch puller which comes in a bag with 4 additional switches of your chosen colour. To pull the switches it works much like the keycap puller, and you click it over the switch and simply pull away. To change it for a different colour or to replace a broken switch, you just line them up with the prongs on the rear and slot them into place firmly and place your keycap back in. Interchangeable keycaps is very common across mechanical keyboards, but to be able to change out the switches for a lower price point is a very good addition for the Phantom, and it certainly comes in useful for customization, and it will also prolong the life of the entire keyboard if any keys are damaged, with the ability to change them out rather than repairing the whole unit. Larger keys such as a spacebar and a shift on the Phantom are supported by stabilizers too to reduce key wobble, which is a minor detail but a good one nonetheless. When it comes to the lighting modes of a Phantom, this is where things get actually interesting. There are 2 ways of operating the lighting, and that is either via the keyboard itself or via the software. To cycle through the different modes, you simply hold down the function key and hit these keys here labelled M1 to M6, and each key holds 3 different modes that we see here. The lighting modes available on the Phantom are actually beyond impressive, and actually remind me very much of the lighting modes available from the Thermaltake X1, which is a much more expensive keyboard, and it's certainly a very nice feature to have on a lower end keyboard. Whilst RGB might not be to everybody's taste, it is a very good feature to have, especially on a mechanical keyboard which is likely going to be used on a gaming setup based on the price point. What's more is the lighting is vivid, bright, colour rich, and thanks to the individually lit keys that I fixed direct to the PCB of each key, meaning you get a much more intense individual look for each key. You can adjust the speed and brightness of the lighting modes too, on the fly, using the function key and the directional arrows as seen here. When it comes to the software for the Phantom, you get this from the Tecware website, which we will have linked down below. The Phantom RGB software suite allows you to pick through the lighting modes, adjust speed and brightness, but also allows individual key customization for a more intense custom light experience. You can also assign macros and shortcuts to individual keys, as well as setting up to 3 custom profiles. The Phantom RGB mechanical gaming keyboard is an incredibly diverse offering, and considering its much lower price point compared to the more common household brand competition, it is certainly a very attractive prospect. Utilising the much cheaper Otemo switches might seem like a surefire way to cut costs and build quality, but it certainly doesn't carry that stigma at all. The Otemo switches are surprisingly underrated, and the blues are almost identically comparable to the Cherry MX blues, albeit a little bit less clicky. The fact that you can not only change out the keycaps but also the entire switches themselves mean that you can completely change out your keyboard if you wish to do so, and damage is less likely to happen due to the easy replacement of switches. The individual LED lights for each key is a nice touch, as is the sturdy aluminium alloy plate. The lighting modes are easily comparable to the big boys of the industry. It is a very simple to look at keyboard that is designed to look basic and functional but hosts a bag full of party tricks. The smaller size, due to the almost non-existent bezel, makes it very compact, even for the full-size 104 key model. The floating keys are a good look, and typing on the Phantom is a good experience all around. The keys are slightly higher, and when using for longer periods, you're likely going to need a wrist rest of sorts, as you will start to feel a little fatigue in the wrists, but it's certainly not enough to make an impact on the keyboard itself. Macros, shortcuts, heavily customizable lighting modes, interchangeable switches, premium feeling materials, solid build quality and a very affordable price point make the Phantom RGB mechanical keyboard a very, very difficult option to ignore, and it has rightfully won itself the Player TV Gold Award. There are very few bad points present with the Phantom, and it was a very easy gold, and it really impressed here at Player. And as always, we will leave a link below so you can get your hands on your own one. And that's it for today. Don't forget to click subscribe, hit that bell button for more videos like this, and we will see you in the next one.